and welcome to the City of Douglasville's Planning Commission meeting. I am Francisco Artley, the chairman of the Planning Commission. The other members of the Planning Commission are Keith Burnett, the vice chair, Natalie Fegan, Nathan Zachary, and Ralph Benton. The staff members are Miranda Jordan, Dana Gray, Community Development Director, Chelsea Tubbs, Planning and Zoning Administrator, and Camille Brown, Planner 1. There are a few protocol items I need to make you aware of before we start the meeting. Please listen closely on how tonight's meeting will be conducted. Keep your comments and presentation on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this commission to make its decision. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair if you deviate from this requirement. A second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the meeting and the premises for the evening. Refrain from any applause or comments from the audience. Only one person will be talking at a time, and all comments will be made at the podium after the speaker has been recognized by the chair. Please direct all comments to the chair and the commission, not to the audience or staff. Please do not applaud or react to the speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or disrupt the order of this meeting in any way. Be aware these hearings are not a debate or an opportunity to ask questions which must be answered by any individual tonight, but merely an opportunity to present information to the commission. Other than the applicant, no person may speak more than once. The applicant may reserve part of their speaking time as a rebuttal and may speak next and last and may use the entire 20 minutes allotted for the pro side of the application. Other than the applicant, no person may speak longer than 5 minutes. If you have a cell phone or any other electronic device, I ask that you either power them off or put them in silent mode. If anyone wishes to speak tonight, please fill out a form available on the table up front and hand it to the staff before approaching the podium. After the case is called, we will hear next from the staff regarding any relevant information to this case. The commission members will be free to ask questions at any time before the vote on a project. Following the applicant, anyone who wishes to speak for or against the project or just ask questions will have an opportunity to do so. The city ordinance restricts each side to a maximum of 20 minutes, or time may be waived at the discretion of the presiding official. If questions are raised, we ask the applicant to speak again. Afterward, we will call for a motion and a second and have any necessary discussion regarding the item. Then we will vote to recommend approval or denial of the application. This commission is only a recommending body. The items will be heard by the mayor and council whether we recommend approval or recommend denial. All items will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, January 8th, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, January 12th, 2025. The first item on our agenda is to approve the minutes from the October 7th meeting. Is there any need for discussion?
No.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the October meeting.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion carries, and the minutes for the October 7th meeting are approved. Is there any old business? No old business. All right. The first case is item 25-478. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for automotive sales, new and used cars for property zone GC General Commercial District being plus or minus 2.64 acres on 12067 Veterans Memorial Highway in land lot 825, District 18, Section 2, parcel ID 0825182A004. Application by Carmona Auto Sales. Staff will now present the item.
Good evening, Chelsea Tubbs, 6695 Church Street, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Just to kind of want to give you all just a little bit of background. As you mentioned, the property is zoned GC, General Commercial, and it is zoned, the other surrounding zonings include other commercial and industrial uses utilized as car repair shops and any other equipment repair shops that are surrounding it. Just to give you a brief background about this application and this parcel in particular, there was a previous special land use permit approved back in 2017 that had a condition to last for 5 years, expiring back in 2022. We reached out to the applicant back in 2022, and since then they have been working with and had meetings with city and county staff. That county staff will be your fire department, WSA, environmental health, and so forth, to make updates to the property. Nothing that will stop the special land use permit in particular, but things that they will have to further get as far as like permits or anything that they need from the Water and Sewer Authority. I did provide you all with additional documents to kind of show you what the property used to look like, and then show you the improvements that were made from 2022 on to now. And then I also did submit that rezoning with that special land use permit to show you back when it was approved and when it expired. And I can answer any questions that you all may have. The applicant is requesting to continue the use of the auto use dealership on the property. So the code requires that they have a special land use permit and come before you all in council to move forward with that approval before we move forward with approval for a business license.
All right. Are there any questions from the board?
Just one quick question. Are we still operating in the 5-year term for the special land use?
Are they still operating in the 5-year term?
Yeah, 'cause this was specifically, for 5 years, so.
No, so when council granted the original special land use permit, that was back in 2017. Based on the ordinance here that I provided you all, that was back in 2017. So they only allowed it for 5 years, so it would have expired back in 2022.
Okay. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Will the applicant come forward and state their name and address for the record? Tell us what you intend to do on this property.
Hi, good evening. I am Christian Carmona. He'll be sort of like overseeing, but I wanted to speak on his behalf. So what we intend to do on the property is, first and foremost, when originally purchasing the property, I guess you could call it an eyesore, for lack of a better word, but really like the idea came from just overall like Christian's background. He loves and knows everything there is to like a car in terms of like mechanics and like sales. His brother is a car salesman / like does body work. His father did it, and so the idea was to be able to find a place to be able to beautify that particular area, to give back to the community, to give people an opportunity to be able to have be able to walk in, find a car that suited them, their any budgetary restrictions that suited their family, lifestyle, whatever it was. So in purchasing the property, that was the idea. And so the intention is to be able to use that property to sell used and new vehicles, to give people, just the people in the community or people driving from farther away, an opportunity to have like a good vehicle to drive off into. So.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board?
Just one question. The special land use permit, I'm not sure, were you guys aware that the original one had expired?
Yes, we were aware.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just curious about the reason for the delay in resubmitting, or?
So when we purchased the property, it was back in 2024. From the expiration in 2022 to the time that we purchased it, you'd have to ask the previous owner. I think maybe there was an intention there, but he didn't actually like follow through with the reapplication process. But the moment that we purchased the property, we were made aware that that was going to be required. So that's something that we heavily prioritized to try to get done.
So y'all are new owners,
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
and you made these changes, these renovations?
Yes,
Okay.
full heart and soul into it.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion? All right. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion to approve item 25-478.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is recommended for approval and will be heard by the mayor and city council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, January 8th, and then voted upon by them at their meeting on the following Monday, January 12th. Thank you. All right. The second case is item 25-477. Hold a public hearing and consider a proposed ordinance to remove the requirement for a special land use permit for short-term rentals. Application by the city of Douglasville. Staff will now present the item.
Good evening, Dana Grace, 6695 Church Street. This is an application for a text amendment to remove the requirement for a special land use permit for short-term rental. So we are proposing a stringent permit application process along with a required business license, so these would work together. We would also have in place for inspections of the properties once they apply for that permit. So short-term rentals in our code 2.02 allowed uses requires a special land use permit in R2, R3, R5, TCMU, and NRC. So if this is approved, short-term rentals will be allowed in these zoning designations, of course, with a business license and a short-term rental application. So most short-term rentals are affiliated with companies like Airbnb, Vibro, Expedia, who do the majority of their bookings. So we also have a program called GovOS or NUMO that is used for short-term rentals, as well as providing a list of homes that are using that short-term rental service. This program will allow us to keep track of those who are using their homes for short-term rentals, ensuring that they have applications and business license with us. So one of the concerns that we had is that if they just get an application, if they just get a business license without an application, we would not know who these folks are. So being that the majority of people use these third-party businesses, it would go into the system, and then we can go into that system and find people who are not registered with the city of Douglasville or have a business license. So this is a quicker process because our special land use permit takes about 3 months. We also research other cities and counties like Atlanta, city of South Fulton. They have recently eliminated the special land use permit and just have an application process. So it would still follow some of our rules in our UDO, which are stringent. You can only have 3 bedrooms, 6 people, 3 parking spaces. You have to put a notice out to the neighborhood in terms of what you're doing with your intention. We have restrictions on partying and noise levels, so things of that nature would really keep everything in check, if you will. So that completes my report.
Are there any questions from the board?
Dana, does the business license, is that through Airbnb?
No, the business license will be with us, the city of Douglasville. So it'll be treated like any other business. When you come, if you open up a store, you have to come to us to get a business license. So that would go the length of the year, but at the same time, we would do the short-term rental application at the same time as the business license, which would reflect that business. So at the end of the year, they have to come and renew, pay the fee for both the business license and the short-term rental application to continue.
So if they're using third parties, then the third party is the business license applicant?
No, it would be that individual.
To be the individual?
So, yeah.
Okay, and the individual has to pay any fees associated to that?
Associated with, they say Vibro, they would have to pay the fees to them, but for us initially, that would be your business license fee and your short-term rental application fee.
Okay.
So, I guess the question I had, as I had read it, if you get rid of the application for short-term rentals, the special land use permit, to me, it kind of seems that you're losing control over the people that are gonna do short-term rentals, because now they don't have to go through this, and they may not even apply for a license, and they may just start renting, and pretty soon you'll have people saying, wait a minute, there's, you know, all these Airbnbs that are popping up, but there's no way to hold
So-
them accountable because you don't know.
Once they start, if they use that service, they go into that GovQA, GovOS system automatically, because they also have to pay the hotel motel tax. So we would be able to go into GovOS to find everybody who is in that system. And we would know automatically if they have an application with us and/or a business license. So that was one of our checkpoints to make sure no one's out there doing it on their own.
So what's stopping them from not putting that information in?
What's stopping them from not? At any point, I guess anybody could start renting their house, but we would, at some point, maybe somebody reports it, that suspicious in and out, and then that's when we can have code enforcement go out there. But most times, because those third parties are so popular and do the footwork for them, you're gonna want to rent from an Airbnb or Vibro, because they're gonna get the clients coming to you and keep your business going continuously.
So let me put all this together if I'm understanding it right. So if someone has an Airbnb here in the city and they list it with VRBO or Airbnb, that listing in and of itself puts it in the state's database, which we could cross-reference with applications. Is that what makes it be listed in the database to pay the hotel tax, is the fact that it's listed with Airbnb and VRBO?
Because Airbnb is responsible for paying their hotel motel tax.
Okay,
So
so-
they will go into that listing because they have to keep a record of how many times they rent out so that they can get the proper amount of taxes paid. So those companies don't want to get in any kind of trouble and miss out on that. So that's an excellent checkpoint.
Okay,
That was what I was missing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cross-reference between Airbnb, VRBO, and this website that you're
Yeah.
talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
okay, so how much is the application?
We're still working it out. We're in the range of between 100 and 250. And we're working out the late fees and any fines that might occur if they don't follow the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there
So-
any other questions?
Yeah, that, I used to Airbnb some years ago, so that cross-reference really is kind of incumbent on who's checking, in a sense, right? So it goes out there, and it didn't used to be that way, but now who goes out there and check that, and now you got this address that shows up, so now you have this evidence, and then you cross-reference it to the license and the application
Right.
for it. The question I have also is, at some point, apartment complexes, we're having to deal with someone renting an apartment, also using that Airbnb as using that apartment as an Airbnb location. I don't know what Douglasville, Atlanta kind of changed the game. Say they were allowing you to do that. However, they changed it to that now the property owner has to have the business license per se,
Correct.
because they own the property. So I couldn't rent the apartment and then go and do that independently. So does that apply also here?
So in a sense, we have to have, we have a list of things that are required. So it would be proof of ownership, who owns it, floor plan, site plan, driver's license, business license, neighborhood notification, and if applicable, HOA approval. So you definitely have to have the owner who's responsible for that use.
I guess the only question is, how's it policed? I mean, is there some type of alert that, the city gets when these things are registered in this database? Like, how, is someone, like, going through Airbnb policing it?
Somebody will, and I think they call it scrubbing or scratching, someone will go through GovQA to make sure those that are in the city of Douglasville have the application, have the business license, and if they don't, then we would know automatically. And then we would send them a letter, and if they continue, then that's when our code compliance officers can go out and say, basically, you're doing this illegally, so you can get citations, you can go to court, you can get shut down.
Do y'all have an estimated, revenue line item for the application?
In terms of how much we will make off of that, not as of yet, because we don't know how many people will start applying.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the project, ask questions, or make any other comments? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak other than in favor of this project? Please come forward and tell us your name and address. Is there any need for further discussion?
I just have one more question. Is there any agreement, excuse me, between any of the booking agency, Airbnb or whatever, to confirm or validate whether someone has the proper credentials to rent in their zone? So if I'm in Douglasville and I just go to Airbnb and do they have any responsibility to confirm that I have that, request and a business license
From that third party?
from the third party?
As it stands now, no.
Okay.
However, if they take the right course with us and get the business license and short-term rental application,
Yeah.
we will review it in terms of proper zoning. So if for instance, if they, for some crazy reason live and turn in a loft and they're in an industrial area, that may not work for us. So upon our review, we'll be able to accept or deny an application based on the zoning, based on the location.
Okay, I was just curious, because they sort of have some liability based off the tax. So to them, I guess, as long as the money being brought in, they're good,
Which-
and then they'll pay tax on it,
Yeah.
and then it's incumbent upon us to catch
Right.
the leak.
So
Okay,
that
I
was
got it.
one of the main concerns, that
Yeah.
it could create a loophole where somebody can come in and slip
Yeah.
in through some cracks there.
Yeah.
But being that it's in GovOS and we're gonna scrape continuously,
Yeah, that's
then
the
we can catch those folks. And then we have the backup of code compliance. If someone is not compliant with the arrangement, then that allows us to really
Yeah.
catch those people.
I was just trying to see if the work we putting in is worth the effort. But I guess
right,
in the long
yeah.
term, yeah, definitely though.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Do I have a motion regarding this application?
I make a motion to approve item 25-477.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes and the application is recommended for approval and will be heard by the city's mayor and council at their legislative meeting on Thursday, January 8th, and then voted upon by them at their following meeting on Monday, January 12th. Is there any staff reports?
Just wanted to give you all a quick note that your January meeting, you all will get the schedule from us probably before the end of the year of your new planning commission schedule for the 2026 year, and that your January meeting is on January 6th. So we will reach out to you all to let you know, to just inquire if you all can meet that day. And in addition to that, I will be reaching out to some of you all regarding regarding your appointment, your reappointments, because some of you all are, your time limits are kind of expiring, just to see if you all kind of want to stay on the board. And then, in addition to that, I'll also be reaching out to you all to kind of look to see what type of trainings you all are looking to go into next year, so we can start getting you all in that training. And one more thing, we do have your new iPads, so we will talk about that after the meeting has concluded. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, so are we set at, we can only serve 2 4-year terms, or can we go past that?
That is not something I am sure of at the moment, but Miranda will be also speaking with you all regarding that. So I will also have her on the email to kind of discuss those questions that you all have regarding reappointment.
Right, because basically, technically Keith has been on the longest. And then I thought if we had to follow that 2-term, 4-year 2 terms, then literally the whole commission comes off at once. So I guess I was just wondering about that.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, that's it? All righty, if there's no further business, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will see you in 2020, or we will see you in 2026. This meeting's adjourned.